big white one. Yay, I love a white pumpkin. I thought it would be a good idea today to show a little update on some of our planting areas. The apple trees are all pushing new growth, new leaves, and I thought I'd show you the watermelon patch and the pumpkin patch and the 4 food plots that we planted and the wildflowers, which are amazing. So let's take you along and get a quick little tour of each of these areas and how they're progressing. First of all, you'll notice the grass that's grown in our orchard. When we planted these apple trees and the 2 peach trees, it was red dirt and we could barely dig in it. So if you go back and look at that video, you will notice quite a difference in the grass. Not good grass, but at least it's growing. We lost 1 peach tree up at the top. And so that's the only one that we lost, which was good. All right, on to the watermelons. Now, wouldn't you know, the watermelons that have grown the best were the ones that were the mystery watermelons, where I saved seeds from last year. So I've got a couple varieties I can tell, but this row is lush and green and very healthy. But we do have some others. We've got Crimson Sweet growing along here. These are dark green sugar baby. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Here. And they're coming along. A lot of little watermelons growing. Uh-oh, that one's got a little bit of rot. See, here are 2 different varieties. One's got some blossom end rot. We've had a lot of rain, which has been good. This row, Crimson Sweet. And there's some growing back in here too. There's one. They're just all up in the grass right now. They're little, hard to see. And I'm not willing to get all up in here. I have sprayed, but. So when these mature, I'll have a whole bunch. I may be selling watermelons on the side of the road. That one's getting big. That one's getting big. And we had some wildflower seeds drop out over here when we were planting those, so they're growing up in here too. I actually love this idea this year. Last year I tried to contain these over in that garden. It was a disaster. So I decided this year we were going to make a big old field and just let them go where they want to go, and that has been a great idea. Here's some more coreopsis. This is a sorghum, not corn. All right, and some more tall grass. So I'm going to kind of skip the tall grass area and get over here to the cantaloupes. So we got a lot of vining and a lot of flowers, which is good. So here's a cantaloupe, and here, and here, and here, and here, and here, and here. We got a lot of cantaloupes coming. Here's the pumpkin patch, which is growing great. The gumdrop ones seem to be where we dropped the compost, and they are green and good. The plants look so healthy. The plants are suffering a little bit down on this hill, so I'm going to fertilize probably today. So let's take a look. That's the watermelon area, and this is the pumpkin area. So let's walk and take a look. A lot of vining. And these are not looking too great. We have had rainwater, so that's good. There's a little one. right here. Oh, here's one. It's already turning orange. Starting to. There's one. See, some of these are large pumpkins and some of them are small and supposed to be small. Some of them are itty bitty. The Jack Be Littles. So I've got white ones and orange ones. There's one coming. And little ones and giant ones. I just can't wait to see what kind of variety of pumpkins we have. Look how healthy these pumpkin plants are. Look at all the flowers in there. So if that comes to fruition, there'll be a lot of pumpkins on that vine. See the vining? That's so good. Starting to take off. So far, no snakes. That's good. It's a big one. Big white one. Yay, I love a white pumpkin. Never grown white pumpkins before. I've never had a lot of success with pumpkins. And there's some more little white ones coming in there. If I can get the leaves out of the way. Yes. Oh, if I even just had two, I'll be happy. Look. There's a pumpkin in there. Ah. Gonna have enough for several porches. Wade and Davis can come see their pumpkins. Look at that one. Success. Got a lot. There's one in there. There's one over there. Oh yeah, we got a lot going on in here. Look. Look at how full it is. I would never have dreamed that these wildflowers would have grown so thick and so beautiful. I've got the list and I'm going to try to walk through and point out the different flowers that are growing that I do know of. Now, the sunflowers obviously are going to face the sun, which is east-west, that way. So that's south. So the sunflowers are going to point south and follow the sun. We have a couple of types of sunflowers. We've got some that are multi-bloom sunflowers. This one, it has like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 blooms coming on it, and the one right behind it is a multi-stem or multi-bloom. So we've got some singles and some multis. This is coreopsis. And there's a little bit of weed, but not a lot. This is sulfur cosmos. We have some black-eyed Susans getting ready to bloom down here. Now, granted, some of these things are short, but for the first time planting wildflowers in this area, I am thrilled. So there's some little plants down in here, but y'all, there's really not much grass and weed pressure. There's some of the other little sunflower, some are sunflowers and some are black-eyed Susans. They're so thick. There's Cosmos, the pink ones. And if you can see, there's white and pink and orange. Let's just keep cruising through here. There's a multi-stem. How pretty. Those are good for cutting and putting in vases. We're going to let them grow a little bit before I cut them. There's a cosmos. All right, I'm looking for larkspur. And I know I have some growing in here. Here's some cosmos, look. Aren't they pretty? And a sunflower. The coreopsis was obviously the main seed. There's lance-leafed coreopsis and plains coreopsis. And we have burr marigold. I don't really see any marigold yet. It might be coming later. And I don't really see any poppies yet. And those may be coming later. You know, everything doesn't bloom at the same time. Here's some marigold. That's marigold right there. It's just not blooming up yet. There's so many bees. I don't know if you can hear them. There's a different coreopsis. Just burgundy. All right, let me see if I can find, there's a larkspur right here. There's larkspur. See the little purple? And more cosmos. Let's get over here. Marigolds are coming up. Look how thick. There's just, it's hard to even step in here. It's so thick with wildflowers. I'm just amazed that this worked. Narrow-leafed sunflower, spotted bee balm. I haven't seen the spotted bee balm yet. That's not to say it isn't out here. If it's short, I might not have seen it yet. Now I came in here and hand transplanted some zinnias and they are doing well also. Look at these zinnias. They just blooming their little selves out. I'll take it. Look at this one. Literally was just a little transplant. All right, from the wildflower patch over to the food plot. This was the first food plot that we planted. And we have a mix of sorghum, looks like corn, but it's sorghum, sunflowers. This is where I put the sunflowers that I saved from the ones I grew last year and the year before. So a mix of black sunflower seeds and the white sunflower seeds. And we've also mixed the peas and soybeans. So it was a mixture of 4 things. And this is growing great. And again, the sun in the south is the way that the sunflowers are facing. But there's a lot of them and they're getting ready to pop wide open. So this field looks really good. The sorghum is tall and hopefully will produce a lot of seed. That is growing great. And you'll remember this is the first year we've had this field. So the first year that we have planted anything over here. Food plot, wildflowers. food plot number 2. You can tell that it is not as vital as the first food plot. This, about 3 years ago, before we built our building, was a soybean field. Well, it does have a decent amount of sun, but it's just not very fertile soil. So we do have peas that grew in here, and there are some soybeans, and there are some sunflowers, and there is some sorghum. However, it doesn't look as vital and healthy as the first food plot does. Now, we have a lot of deer down here, and in the very beginning, when the soybeans were coming up, the deer were nipping those, so they ate most of that up. So mostly this is grass with a little bit of food forage mixed in. Not a lot. Or not. But this food plot is down here behind the pond dam. There's a watermelon vine growing. I forgot my snake stick. Actually, there's 2 watermelon vines growing. Here's one that volunteered, and here's one that volunteered. How about that? So we have 2 watermelon vines down here that we did not plant. So that's a bonus. Maybe they'll grow some watermelons. All right, we'll move on to the new field. Now this is the new field that we gained at the last minute, sort of, the last planting minute. So we have sorghum, we had a little bit of peas, we had a lot of soybeans, some sunflowers left, and if you'll remember, we put that bag of mix, deer mix that had oats and wheat in it. I don't see a lot of that coming up. You'll also remember that this part of the field was nothing but red clay. The middle is growing fairly well, and well, all of it's growing and fairly well, better than the second food plot. So this field goes all the way down to, there's a little road there, and then around, and then up through there. I believe this was cotton last year. So it's not thick, not here where the soil is so clay. But yeah, so these are flowering. And there's a lot of them. And that's a nitrogen fixer. So this is mainly to fix this soil, because I would like for this area to one day be a ginormous blueberry field. But we got a little soil work to do. Actually, I don't think we had any sunflowers in this part. We came back, and on the back side, where we ran out of seed, we planted soybeans and sunflowers back there, so they got a really late start. But mostly this is sorghum and peas and soybeans. So yeah, it's not thick, but it is, it's growing, so that's good. And maybe we'll have soil in a year or so instead of clay dirt, but it is growing. That's promising. All right, so let's go see food plots number 3 and number 4, which are the worst 2. This is food plot number 3, and this is the worst of the 3. We've got a sparse sorghum and 1 or 2 peas, and that's about it. Last year we planted sorghum in here, and it looked a little bit better than this, but this is by far the worst. I wouldn't call this a food plot. at all. It is where we put the corn feeders, and we do have a deer stand, but yeah, not good. Zone. I did not know this was going on, but that's okay. And here we are at food plot number 4. And this one's not great, but it is growing. You see how light green it is? So it's missing a lot of nutrients, probably some lime. But it is growing, so that one is a plus. So this was a mix of soybeans, peas, sorghum, and sunflowers also. Last year we also planted sorghum up here, but it didn't even do this well. So, yeah. But it's growing. It's starting to amend the soil. And then the farmer has cotton up here. And then whitetail ridge.